Hello everyone and welcome back to MDG Media. Once again, we have officially reached the halfway point of the tournament and are now going into the back end to find out who will be crowned your 2025 Turku Open champion. This is round 2 back 9 MPO lead card coverage. I'm Connor Wood and with me, Mr. Elias Luukkonen.
What's up, Connor? What's up, viewers? And good morning, good night, good day, good evening, whatever is the time you're watching this. We are having a great evening here in the studio watching some Americans play disc golf. It is the European stretch of the tour, but our card looking very much from the US, and they're playing like it. I mean, it's for a reason, it's the leading country in disc golf still, before Finland takes over 4 under on the front. Pretty damn solid on the card, I think.
And until Finland can do that, they'll have to beat these players. And it's quite simply difficult to beat a pace that's setting the majority of the holes being birdied 5 under through the front 9. We'll see how much they can close it out here in the back. We proceed with hole number 10. This par 3 is 115 meters downhill the entire way, probably playing closer to 100. You have this tree on the right and the gap here, ideally shaping something through this gap with a turnover or hyzer flip. You then need to finish straight and land soft. There is a slope right behind the basket. If you come in a little bit too hot, you can quickly find the OB long. I think this plays best for a slightly lower speed disc, something like a mid-range that can get through the gap slowly and then land soft. The fairway does play nicely as well, just a little more touchy. And whatever Calvin threw there is probably a great disc to throw. We saw an imperfect shot with a very nice result.
Yeah, it looked like a straight mid-range there. And this play from Gossage, we saw this in round number 1. Trying to go for a high flex shot over all of the left side trees. This one was turned out of the hand, but look at the result. Getting all the way to the edge of the circle with honestly a shot that didn't look that great out of the hand.
And he may just be the only person in the tournament taking that line. Cannot confirm, but I wouldn't be surprised. We see Ezra hugging the left side, gets it straight, and a good forwards push will give him those extra meters to feel a little more confident. And within range, his putt has been very smooth, was very casual, as we mentioned in the front 9. We go to Raven, currently tied first, looking to shape the forehand through the gap, and it's done so nicely. Also a little bit short there. The flight ended by that small bush. Ezra up first from downtown.
From downtown Turku, shout out Jokilaiva. That's unfortunately not inside of the club. As Ezra has to settle for a par, potential to lose the lead here to Raven. But not gonna be good. These two guys shooting the hottest of first rounds, still able to keep the separation between them and the field.
Calvin with just a pop of the fingers, a smash of the chains. Simple looking birdie. He puts himself continuing to push. We go to Gossage, a putt of his own for birdie to get to 16, and it is in. Look at the fist pump, Elias. He's pumped to get that putt right there. Yeah, completely gleeful even. You love to see that passion for the sport for something as simple as an edge of circle putt.
Yeah, I love the energy. I mean, sad we don't have much of a gallery at this part of the course. It's a harder hole to spectate, especially on the green side. Would have loved to see some of those goose shouts with that putt. It's getting a stroke. Both Calvin and Aaron are getting a stroke on the rest of the card. That's what we want to see, make that lead a little bit tighter. It's really setting up to be a pretty tight event. Moving on to a tight shot, a tight hole, number 11, 186 meters. And once again, like almost every par 4 on this course, it's all about the drive. If you put the drive 110 meters down there with nice straight to stable fairway driver, land here perfectly in the middle of the opening the second shot isn't really that tricky. I mean, 75 meters, plays like 90 with the uphill. You can throw your straight mid-range or straight putter even, or some forehand approach disc, whatever you like. But once again, if you're not in the perfect spot, it's gonna be really tricky and even hard to get creative on this hole from a bad spot.
Calvin knows how to throw the low piercing shot, and that has moved really nicely. Maybe even a little bit long of the ideal landing zone, but more than enough to be in play for birdie. You see Aaron much lower, much more inside, is contending with that early Mando tree, but I think ultimately got around it no problem. Will be too pinched to make any significant progress on the second shot.
Ezra, this looks nice as long as he gets through some trees. Yeah, that's the problem. You really want to push the straight flight rather than finishing early left. The reason why you want to throw that more stable disc compared to more understable is that the worst mistake is to end up on the right. Just like Raven unfortunately does. Wasn't really much of his fault. Just a bad tree kick.
And he punches out. That's pretty solid. Does not end in the direction of the basket, but he's out there from a tough position. Ezra, you can see also just having a very limited swing of the arm. Does really well with it. The applause of the gallery. They're back on the green of 11 now as they reconnect to some of the walking paths available for those to come watch and enjoy the spectacle of the sport. Gossage here shaping a forehand roller, doing what he can just to get out in the open. Calvin, a straight open look to the green.
Totally see someone putting with that.
Yeah.
Just like wind-wise, because it's like you mess it up, you're not even gonna go too far.
Raven, very analytical guy. That's, I believe, already the second time this round that he has been analyzing putting. Remember, he did the same thing on hole number 4. Let's see if the analysis pays out, and almost as I was about to call that in, just splashes out on that right side.
He may have overthought the putt. Calvin, however, does not. Ezra, a great grab there. Very cleanly played by Ezra the whole way through. And Gossage in is able to secure his par. Maintained the 16 under, 1 behind Raven, 2 behind Ezra. Now tied with Calvin. The Heimburg birdie moving on to 12.
Yeah, hole number 12, a very interesting, a very dangerous hole. 137 meters, but don't be fooled by the distance. We're going far downhill, so it actually probably plays closer to 105, maybe 110. Everything you see on the right, this road, this little old road on the right side, is all OB. So you have to fly over that road, ideally with a slight hyzer angle. The best shot here really is a straight disc on a slight hyzer, so that you don't challenge the left side OB or the long OB, which is no more than 10 meters on the left side of the basket. It's just such a tight area that you have to land your disc in order to be safe.
Calvin with a nice execution of the line, comes up a little bit short there, but we'll be looking at a downhill putt. Will feel a little bit shorter than it is. We go to Ezra. Has now a good read on the line. This is a common shot here, just straddling the edge of the right OB line, having some late fade into the hill. See a similar result for Ezra as for Calvin. Let's see if Goose does it again. He's got the blue nuke out, and he's looking high and left. Going to play a wide, swinging hyzer. This requires a huge amount of power.
And he has done it again. He's putting somewhere, didn't quite see it land, but I think it should be near the edge of the circle, which honestly on this hole, such a great result. A lot of players are getting bogeys here. Even double bogeys are doable if you hit that OB right. And Raven, that's likely gonna be one of the previously mentioned bogeys, unless he does make a great putt. This is the one part, even though the left side OB is uncomfortably close, if you go there, you still have a chance to save your par.
The advantage, let's say, of a close OB line brings the punishment in sooner but alleviates the remaining distance. We go Calvin with the high floaty bid. Does kiss the cage. Those longer looks not connecting. Raven now with the aforementioned look from the OB line. And another stepper that finds hefty chains but does not stick. Out to the right side we proceed to Gossage. A birdie look.
Would be a huge one to get here. And the stroke is good. Right out of the hand. Perfectly clean. None of that wobble that he oftentimes gets with a low spin rate. Just perfectly smooth on the release.
Ezra good for the par there. Calvin likely the same. Both of those two playing the hole in nearly identical ways. Ending slightly early short left. Not missing, not connecting rather on the big downhill putt. Raven taps in the bogey.
We are outside.
We are together.
Oh my!
We are healthy.
We are inclusive.
Smile.
Smile. You are playing
Take this goal.
PDGA Europe.
Smile.
And our players will be smiling as they walk onto the tee of hole 13. A fun uphill par 3 at 121 meters, even playing a little bit longer than that, probably closer to 130. You have OB lining the left side as well as the right and long, although the left side is really the one that comes into play. It shapes most naturally for a hyzer flip, a soft flex through this late gap, or even a pure hyzer if you're comfortable with that power and just try to get right here 6 or 7 meters away. The most common mistake is to fade out left, given that it's a power backhand most of the time going uphill, and that left side tree line can still leave you a reasonable putt inside the circle. It is really the left side OB which is the main risk here. We go to Gossage. We've mentioned his power both ways. This one still longer than I thought it would go given the height, but not enough. Is cooked into the ground. Let's see if Calvin can find the line.
An interesting point about Gossage's shot there. He wasn't able to take his longer run up here as the tee pad is very far elevated on the backside. So potentially a bit uncomfortable with just a short run up. As Calvin on the right side. This is definitely a hole that, you know, that the tee pads are solid on this course, but they are a little bit short. So on a hole like this, where trying to throw pretty much full power, definitely would help to have a couple extra meters on that backside. Create for a longer, more comfortable run up for all players.
It's an interesting discussion to have whether or not the qualities of a tee pad should be considered part of the obstacles of the course or not. Of course, everyone has to deal with the same tee pads. Raven there coming up just a little bit short left in that common tree line landing zone. But Gossage, I think, more isolated in the impact of these short tees as someone who likes the full extended run up. A few other names come to mind in that consideration. And Gossage does well. We'll have a tap in 3. Ezra, more work to do. Still has a gap to hit. No problem, though.
That was a frisbee toss if I've ever seen one. Good wrist action there. And Calvin, either a really late release or just a layup on the tailwind side of the basket. Can't really tell which one. It's a hole with some inconsistent winds. You probably would just want to put it in the center and hard.
A little right. Nice.
Raven, after a super hot start, has slowed down a little bit. Not yet found a birdie on the back 9 and has lost his lead position now by a few strokes. And just like that, the Ezra putt, the par frame, lands for the lead card. Unable to find green on hole 13.
Finding the green on hole number 14. After 2 shots, it's gonna require a straight shot off the tee. Whether you want to go for a forehand to hit the gap more comfortably and finish further to the right, or a backhand, which is probably the purest shot to get all the way down to the short tee pad, about 80 meters short of the basket. That's your choice. And then on the approach, a couple choices as well. Once again, there's a 1 multiple trunked tree in the way, which you can choose the right side of with the backhand or the left side of with the forehand. Really shooter's choice on this one. Once again, I feel like I say this on every par 4, but this is the same exact thing. If you hit the tee shot perfect, it's not an easy birdie, but the second shot just gets way easier. And the first one definitely being the difficult shot of the hole.
It is certainly the qualifier to get birdie or sometimes even par. Calvin gets a pretty rough connection there on the right side tree, but I think kicking to the right from that catch cam angle, the left, is probably in his favor for that slightly shorter distance. You're not so far down the hill. Ezra gets this overpulled, and a fine result considering he missed the gap. A great one even. That is the position of where a good drive is trying to land by fortune. Let's see if Raven, going with the forehand, is going to try to end right up the hill.
Yeah, more of a flippy forehand there. I think maybe he was trying to get all the way around the corner. Can't really tell without asking the man himself. And unfortunately, we don't have him in the studio here. If we did, that probably wouldn't be the best for his performance today, as it's pretty late in the night right now. Raven Newsom gonna have a relatively easy shot for the par from there. It's really a hole after a good drive you almost can't bogey it unless you miss a putt.
Calvin, looking to split the gap, is denied entrance into the green. We'll see if Gossage is able to find it. I think he's going hyzer over the right side given that gesture. He is trying to play a spike, crash the top of the canopy above the green and filter through, spook the cameraman. And he's up there. He's done what he's tried to do. It is a bit of a gamble, but it's most often progress, assuming you can get over the initial trees. Ezra, wouldn't be surprised to just see a touchy backhand throw straight through the gap.
Wow, surprisingly short. I mean, the angle looked kind of okay. He was definitely missing that middle tree to the right. But now he's gonna have a decision whether he wants to go for that putt from 15 or not. Raven, no decision, just needs to execute that approach. And honestly, really impressive touch. It's not the easiest of shots from there.
Not the easiest of layups either. This slope is quite steep and very fast. Just a light mulch. We go to Gossage looking up the hill. Can give this full confidence. His putt has looked very clean so far. And he delivers yet another one there. Very nicely done. Plays to his strengths, goes for the power hyzer, crashes the green knowing he's comfortable with a little bit of range left on that putt. just like that, cleans up hole 14 nicely.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with Gossage's putt right now. It's after that short miss on hole number 1, I feel like he's made a lot of those circles edge putts. Might even have to go as far as to say that his putting problems are in the past. Looking like a strong putter, even near the top of the field right now.
The Goose is officially let loose here on hole 15. Par 3, 110 meters. It's an initial tunnel shot, although fairly generous in its width, especially compared to previous tunnel shots on this course. You want to break out into the field and have a soft landing leftwards. A little bit of hyzer skip can be to your benefit. It's very important, though, that you don't go too overstable or too skippy. It's very common that this green plays a little bit faster than you would expect. I think for that reason, being downhill 110, it plays like less. A lot of players are opting for a mid-range or even an overstable approach disc to try and mitigate some of that late ground play that a slower disc will give you.
This one needs to sit to not find that left side, and Aaron Gossage once again gonna be near that 10-meter mark. The range that he has looked so comfortable from so far. But on this hole, you're not quite as happy with that 10-meter putt as on some other ones, as it's one of the easiest holes on the course. Just needs a straight right finishing, slow hyzer, just as Calvin shows.
Ezra plays it out wide, but sneaks right past that late evergreen. Skips up and off the pin, it looks like. Very solid line. We'll see 3 out of 4 putting for birdie. Some various lengths already. Let's see if Raven can find himself in the mix. Gets an Anheuser release out of the hand. I think an intentional angle, but a misrelease in the sense that he's trying to flex it down the middle with an Anheuser. He just isn't hitting the gap correctly on the initial release. And this is what he's forced to now. Just a touchy forehand upshot.
Yeah, really hard to say what's up with the release. We saw the same exact thing on hole number 4, I believe. Bit of a flatter release. There you go, Goose. If you ever forget his nickname, just read the text on the chest and you're gonna be fine. This is one of the better spectator spots on the course. There's a big road. Actually, the main entrance to the course is just on the right side of the screen. Can barely not see it from this angle.
And I mentioned it previously, but Raven's start was really hot. Broke into the solo lead position and held it for quite a few holes, but has slowed down now 1 over through the last 6 in comparison to some of his card mates. Gossage, for example, 4 down.
Hey guys, quick break. We just dropped our brand new 2025 MDG Media Tour clothing collection, which is now available on our online shop. You will find fresh apparel and a full lineup of discs. If you like what we do, if you want to support the project, this is the best way. See you on the website and enjoy the video.
Thank you, Maxime. Moving on to one of the hardest holes on the course. And can I say it one more time? It's all about the drive. 189 meters. And the best drives on this hole can cover up to 100, even 110 meters. Absolute best drives land all the way to the grass here, leaving yourself with a pretty easy yet still a blind approach. With that OB on the right, a lot of players just playing something overstable, fine with landing a little bit left side of the basket. A lot of the times you don't have the perfect drive on this hole though, and then it's so much about scrambling. If you don't have a good gap, just put yourself in the middle. Par here is really not gonna hurt you, no matter if you're leading the tournament or not.
Goose finds himself overturned and off center fairway. That is a very precise and skinny landing zone. Calvin, a similar but inversed overturn shot there. We go to Ezra. The hyzer release to late flip is so good here. And I think that that encourages people to get a little bit too flippy sometimes on their disc selection. Raven opting for the forehand.
About the role as a volunteer coordinator here at the Turku Open 2025.
Well, yeah, it's mainly focusing on controlling all the volunteers, gathering the volunteers, and making sure that everyone knows where they have to be and when they have to be.
And when did preparation start for this event?
Well, the first meetings we did on November last year, and then we started recruiting people in April. So, a few months of work.
Well, on behalf of the community, I'd like to thank you and all the volunteers out there. Without you guys, none of these top-level events could take place. If you're considering volunteering, please do so. It's a great way to experience the event, a lot of fun, and it's a big help for everybody who puts on these things.
Thank you, and really big shout out to Jari, who's been working whole week here from the morning till the evening. Thank you, Jari.
Thank you, Jari. And I agree with Andrew. Thank you to all of the volunteers making such an event possible.
Thank you, Jari, and thank you, viewers, for joining us, making it happen here on MDG Media. Raven not making it happen to the green of 16. From that far up, the gap plays pretty big, particularly for the shape you're encouraged to throw. That one not clean. Calvin with a much skinnier line available to him, and that one also, I believe, is an incomplete flight. Aaron has to watch the hand on the pull through. Just a series of awkward shots. This shows the dangers of hole 16, Elias, and when you don't have that aforementioned perfect drive, just simply don't qualify for a birdie look.
No. Yeah, and the bogey comes so quick. Bogey comes so quick. I mean, we saw a couple of great examples of this when you get a little bit aggressive from a non-ideal drive. Just shank it in the first tree in front of you. Easy to do. And honestly, the gaps are so small, your second shot doesn't even have to be that bad as Ezra Robinson. Capitalizing on the moment, everybody else struggling, but he's gonna be inside of the circle there.
Dang it, man. Commit to it.
Goose, unhappy with the width, leaves him high up on the rocks looking downhill. And the frustration getting to him now. It's a very difficult hole. Exactly 50% of the field took a par.
Seems likely that Calvin might be one of those 50%. It's Newsom here, trying to get up and down for the par. Not gonna be the case. He's not gonna be Raven with another bogey on this back nine. Very dry scorecard, just a bogey and 5 pars.
Ezra seizes the moment, seizes the birdie. 7 under for his round now, sitting at 20 under. He now breaks in to the lead position for this card. And likely the lead position for the tournament. Chase Cards and Beyond may have something to say about that, but we'll take a look after the next 2 holes. Both birdieable, both probably bogeyable. This one, say slightly easier than hole 18, plays fairly friendly to the inside right. You have OB lining the left side the entire way. You have a late gap in this right side tree line as it begins to go uphill. You have to hit the gap very precisely, ideally with the forehand hyzer. You can play a backhand late flipping turnover as well. What's important is that you time your left to right movement precisely to hit this gap and find yourself on the green. You can also throw over the trees. I think that's a possibility for some of these players. It's just a different shot. You can throw a low piercing hyzer as well, but Ezra no surprise, backhand dominant player looking to shape the turnover.
Not lacking the shape, rather lacking the direction of release. Just too far inside. It's a very skinny gap you have to hit. And Calvin, this was weird. Something happened with the fingers and with the wrist, as his arm was definitely on a hyzer angle. The disc still coming out on an anhyzer.
Gossage playing the most traditional looking line, the high forehand hyzer. Does not hit the gap perfectly, but should be pretty safe. Raven, similar looking shot, straight to right finishing. We see that wind lifting it and then ultimately dropping it off the trees. No one is too close, except for the cameraman to Maxime. Maybe a little too close, but we go first to the bushes here.
So that was Calvin with an incredible scramble. He was deeper in the bushes than honestly, deeper than anybody I've seen this week. And Raven here trying to run it in with that slow one-speed disc.
Ezra has that hybrid putt throw, very spinny look from range. We saw that one a little bit low.
If you're able to get your toe down, yeah.
Like this foot touching this doesn't matter?
Your foot touching this doesn't matter as long as your toe is planted behind it. If you're
Even the tour manager, Matej, getting involved, and there you go. A big miss. Almost a big make from Aaron Gossage. And he's not only fighting for his position in the tournament, but also fighting for that lead card spot for tomorrow. These players know that it's so much more likely that you're gonna win being on the lead card than being on the chase card. I mean, you can see what the other players are doing, and you can feel the vibe on the card. Put some different pressure on those leaders compared to if you're on the chase. You're earlier, you have to guess what the lead is gonna score in the final holes. You can't really respond to what they're doing.
We move on to the final hole of this course, hole 18, a par 3 116 meter island hole, playing ever so slightly downhill from the MPO tee. You have this undulating fairway of OB. Anywhere there will land you at the drop zone. You need to hit the island and stick it here. It is just about circle one in all directions, maybe a touch larger, but it's very common for players to land in and skip out. It's possible for players to land out and skip in. Therefore, something that is either spiking in or landing kind of softly, if possible at this long range, is ideal to give yourself the best chance for a birdie putt. And it's a great way to go out with the gallery right behind.
Tough wind on this hole, right to left, tailwind, sometimes more of a tail, sometimes more of a right to left, and for Ezra, unfortunately, he got that right to left gust. As far as Calvin, more of a tail, not making it inside of the island. 2 out of 2 missing the island on this final hole, pretty surprising.
And in different ways, one long left, one short right. Aaron Gossage, the first to let out a breath, a sigh of relief. He is on the island, and he will get an additional meter from the outside in. Raven, let's see if he's gotten the width correct here. It looks a little bit inside, but with a good straight pushing flight, drops out of the sky nicely. We have 2 on and 2 off. The drop zone will go first to end strong here. Ezra currently the solo leader at 20 under. This is to save par now.
And not gonna keep the leading position. He will have to share it with some other people. It's Calvin as well, missing some other people in this instance. may or may not mean Aaron Gossage, depending on if this putt goes in the basket or not. That's gonna be good.
The applause of the crowd, the smash of the chains. His round 2 is complete. He has officially locked up a position for himself on the lead card. Raven ending strong, only 2 under compared to his previous days 13. Not the same standard of play he brought in round 1, but had, I think, a good time on this card. Ezra having a bad time on the green of 18, not going out in the best way with a double bogey. He will fall back to 18 under now. And a late twist of fate, switching of the seats.
Even a little Seppo Paju appearance there, as you can see. Couple guys near the top from previous cards, Lauri Lehtinen and Daniel Davidson, both shooting really well. And Ezra Robinson still staying on the lead card for the final round. So we're gonna have a couple of Finnish guys, a couple of American guys, really coming down as the battle of the continents. Maybe we could finally get a Finnish Elite Series winner against these American guys. It's been a while since the last one.
On the home turf, it's certainly a possibility. We appreciate every single one of you for joining us here for this coverage. And make sure to stay tuned for round 3 to find out who will be your 2025 Turku Open champion. From all of us here at MDG, we appreciate you. Bye-bye.